कुछ नहीं, सिर्फ वही करना।
चैंटिंग ना। Usually लेट मारना इसमें तो भी आज छुपा तो लेट रहना चाहिए।
इंटरवल है ना, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह भेजा जा रहा है। चलो, नमस्कार आपको।
मंच का था मंच लंच टाइम में
कोशिश कम से कम करें
कि मैसेज वैसे ऐसे दिन स्वैग ना होता था।
उसमें अगर आपको कोई मैसेज आए तो
बराबर से पाला हूँ।
टाइम है ना, सब ठीक रहना चाहिए। नहीं
लंबा टाइम चुना।
हम देखो हमारी पार भी होगी तो होगा।
भगवान ऐसे मंजूर है। लंच एंड रेस्ट टाइम है साथ में कहते हैं ना, कमर में थोड़ा रेस्ट थी, लेट थे 5:30 से मजा थोड़ा सा तो लेट से Evening chanting, page 14. Yo so bhagava arham samma sambuddho swakato yena bhagavata dhammo supatipanno yassa bhagavato savak sango tamayam bhagavantam sadam sasangam himehi sakarehi yatha arham aropitehi abhipujayama sadhuno bhante bhagava suchira parinibbhutopi pachima janatanukampa ime sakkare dugatpanakara bhute patiganatu amhakam digratam hitaya sukhaya arham samma sambuddho bhagava buddham bhagavantam abhivademi swakato bhagavata dhammo dhammam namassami supatipanno bhagavato savak sango sangam namami अन्मयं बुद्धस्य भगवतो पुब्बभाग नमकारं करोमसि नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य अन्मयं बुद्धानुसतिनयं करोमसि तं कूपन भगवन्तम् एवं कल्याणो किति सद्दो अभुगतो इति पिसो भगवा अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो विद्याचरण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरुषदं सारथि सत्तादेव मनुस्सानं बुद्धो भगवाति अन्मयं बुद्धाभिगीतिं करोमसि बुद्धवारहन्तवरतादिगुणाभियुतो शुद्धाभिज्ञानकरुणा हि समागततो बोधेसियो सुजनता कमलं वसुरो वन्दाम्यहं तमरणं शिरसा जिनेन्दम् बुद्धो यो सब्बं पाणिनं शरणं खेममुत्तमं पठमानुसतिष्ठानं वन्दामि तं शिरेणं बुद्धस्सस्मिदासीव बुद्धो मे सामिकिस्सरो बुद्धस्सहं नियादेमि शरीरं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि बुद्धस्यैव सुबोधितं नत्ति मे शरणम् अन्यं बुद्धो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सज्जवज्जे वड्डेयं सत्तु शासने बुद्धं मे वन्दमानायं पुण्यं पशुतम् इद सब्बेऽपि अन्तरायां माहि हान्दमयं धम्मानुसतिनयं करोमसे स्वाखातो भगवता धम्मो सन्दिट्ठिको अकालिको एहि पस्सिको ओपनयिको पश्चात् वेदितव्यो विन्योहीति हान्दमयं धम्माभिगीतिं करोमसे स्वाखाततादिगुणयोगवसेन यो मग्गपाकपरियतिविमोक्षभेदो धम्मो कुलोकपतन तदधारि वन्दामि तमरं वरदमभीतं धम्मो यो सब्बपाणिनं शरणं किममुत्तमं द्वितीयानुसतिष्ठानं वन्दामि तं शिरेणहं धम्मस्मि दासीव धम्मो मे सामिकीश्वरो धम्मस्सहं नियादेमि शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि धम्मस्यैव सुधम्मतं नत्ति मे शरणं धम्मो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सज्जवज्जेन वड्डेयं सत्तु शासने धम्मं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं पशुतं सब्बेऽपि उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो सामीचिपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो यदिदं चत्तारि पुरुषयुगा अष्टपुरुषपुद्गला एष भगवतो सावकसङ्घो आहुनेयो पाहुनेयो दक्षिणेयो करणीयो अनुत्तर पुण्यकीतं लोकसाति हान्दमयं संगाभिगीतिं करोमसे सधम्मजो सुपटिपत्तिगुणादियुतो यो अट्टविदो अरियपुग्गलसङ्गसेठो शीलादिधम्मपवरा सयकाय चित्तो वन्दाम्यहं तमरेण गणं सुशुद्धम् सब्बपाणिनं शरणं किममुत्तमं ततीयानुसतिष्ठानं वन्दामि तं शिरेणहं सङ्घस्मि दासीव सङ्घो मे सामिकीश्वरो सङ्घस्सहं नियादेमि शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि सङ्घस्सोपटिपन्नतं नत्ति मे शरणम् अन्यं सङ्घो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सज्जवज्जेन वड्डेयं सत्तु शासने सङ्घं मे वन्दमानायं पुण्यं पशुतम् इदा सब्बेऽपि अन्तरायामि आयेषुं तस्य तेजसा
disturbance now.
मैंने सब फ्लाइट मोड में कर दिया है ना.
Beginning of this retreat, and we'll do some Parita chanting.
Mr. P. L Dhar Galaxy Tab S. Mobile device not found. Ready to pair. Connected to OnePlus 3G.
We'll do some Parita chanting, which is chanting all the wise teachings and blessings of the Lord Buddha to bless all of you and support you on this retreat during this next week. And then after that we'll take the 8 precepts, and from there on then it'll have the noble silence as part of the agreement on how to behave during this retreat. And then we'll give it some kind of reflection. And then tomorrow morning, I think we meet at 5:30. And we can chant Parita.
If you keep the microphone, because the sound is very dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ajahn Chandra is going to invite all the benevolent forces in the universe to bear witness to this moment.
We're going to dedicate this to Mark.
And also dedicating this for Mark Poncella, whose father died just recently. He had to leave. He's leaving the retreat to attend his father's funeral.
Paritavana metang sameta badanta Awikita jita paritang panantu Sage kame charupe girisi karatate chantalike vimane Dipirate chagame taruvanaga hane gehawatum hikete. Jayanto Dewa Jalatala Visameya Kakanda Banaga Titanta Santikeya Muniwara Vachanang Sadavo Mesunantu Dhamma Savanakalo Hayang Badanta Dhamma Savanakalo Hayang Badanta Dhamma Savanakalo Hayang Badanta.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, dhammāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, dutiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, dutiyampi dhammāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, dutiyampi saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, tatiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, tatiyampi dhammāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, tatiyampi saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Asevana japharanam bandinanam jasevana chaja bhojaniyanam enam mangalamurdama madhiro madhe savaso jabho bhejagadapo Adhatamma banitija edhammangalamurdhamang Usajan jasibhan javinayo jasusikido supasina Vajayenam mangalamurdhamang Dabido ubadha Rasa sangho anagula jagamandai namang Murnamangananjadhamma jariya jayanangananjasangho Anuvacchani gammani edhammangalamurnama Aradi viradi baba majamana jasanyamo Bama gorjaname suve namangalamurdama Karavarjani vado jasandu di jagadanyuda Lena Dhamma Savanange Namangalamurnama Kandi Jaso Vajasana Samanananjanatanang Lena Dhamma Sagachaye Namangalamurdama Namorja Brahmajariyan Jariya Sajana Tanang Nibbana Sajagiriya Jaye Namangalamurdama Buddha Zalokaname Jedhang Yasanagambadi งังวิรชังเกมังเกนามังกาลมุตมังเกดาดิสานิกันนาสาบาดามบาราธินาสาบาดาสุทิงกาจันติดานเนสามังกาลมุตมันติยังกินชีวิตตังอิทวาหุรังวาสักสวายังรัตนังมณีนังนโนสมังอาทิตตากเตนะวิบุญเดรัตนังมณีนังเนเตนะสัจเจนะสุวาทิโหตุขยังวิรังกังอมกังดังยะถาจักขาสักยมุนีสัมมาหิโนนะเตนะธัมเมนะสัมมาทิกินเจธัมมิธัมเมรัตนังมณีดังเอเตนะสัจเจนะสุวาทิโหตุยัมโพธเสโนมริวาอิสุจิงสัมมาทิมานันทริกันยมาหุสัมมาทินาเทนะสัมโมนะเวจาริธัมมิธัมเมรัตนังบานิตังเทนะสัจเจนะสุวาทิโหตุเยโภคาลาอาทัสสะปัสสะทาจานาริเยกานิยุกานิโหติเตกานินายะสุขดาสสาวกาเอเนสุเทนานิมหาภลานิธัมปิสังเขรนังปณิตังอิเทนะสัจเจนะสุวาทิโหตุเยสุปยุตตามนัสสะทาเรนะนิคามิโนโคธรรมสสะสัมมานิเตภาติบาทามกังวิทายลาดามุดานิบุติยามานาหิธัมปิสังเขรตนังมณีตังเทนะสัจเจนะสุวาทิโหตุขีนังโบราณังวังนาติสัมภวังเวราตจินตายติเกภวสมิงเตคินาปิชาวิโรลิจันดานิพันติเทรายดายัมปฏิโมหิตัมปิสังเขรตนังมณีตังเอเตนะสัจเจนะสุวาทิโหตุการณิยมัตตคุสเลนะยานดังสันทังปะทังวิสัมเมจะสังโฆหุโชจะสุหุโชจะสุวัชโชจะสมุทโธมานิสันตุสังโฆจะสุปาโรจะหาภากิโยจะสาลหุขมุติสันตินทริโยจะนิภาโคจะหาภาคาโภคุเลสวานานุเคโทนะจักขุทังสัมมาจาริกินสิเยนะวิญโยภาริอุปวเตโยกิโนวาเคมิโนโหนตุสาเมตานาภวันตุสุขิตาทายเกจิปานะพุทธาติตาสาวาทาวราวะอนวัสเสสาธิกาวาเยมหันตาวะมัชฌิมาราสังฆาทุกขทุลาทิทาวาเยจะหัตถิทาเยจะโดเรวสันเดียวิทุเรโพธาวาสัมภเวสีวาสัพเพ สานามาวันตุสุขิดานานาปโรปาราติโกเพทนาติมันเยนะกาตชินังเยนิพายาโรสนาปฏิกัสสัญญาทัญญมัญญาสันตุกามิเชยมานาทานิยังบุญงายุสาเหกบุญมนุราเคความปิสาบมุเดสุมาณสัมภาวเยอปริมาณังเมธัญญาสัมภโลกสัมมิงมานะสัมภาวเยอปริมาณังโอทังอโนจดิริยังจะสัมปานังเวรังสัมปานังดิทัญจรังนิสิโนวาสยานโนยาวนาสวิกาตมิโตทังสติงอดิเทยมรามเมตังวิหารังนิธัมมาหุเทเทจานุปังคัมมสีลวัฏฐาสเนนะปันโนกาเมสุวินัยเขตังนะหิชาดุขาปัสสยังบุณเรติติอิติปิโสภะคะวะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิชาจารณะสัมปันโนสุขโนโลกวิทูอนุตตโรบุริสนามัสสารติสาดาเทวมนุสานังบุตโธภะวะติสวากาโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมสันติติโกวัคคลิโกเอหิปัสสิโกโหปนัยโกปัจจานังทิตาโพวินยูหิติสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆจุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยัมปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสามิจิปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยติทังจานทาริปุริสายุคานิยตัมปุริสัมโภคลาเอสัมภะคะวะโตวะกสังโฆอาหุนายโยบาหุนายโยทากินายโยหันชลิการณิโยอนุตตรังบุญญาทิตังโลกัสสันติมหาคารุณิโกนาโทหิตายะสัพพมานินังริตวาบารมีสัพพะมาโนสัมโพธิมุตตมังอิเตนะสัจวะเจนะโหตุเตจายมังคลังจายันโตโพธิยามบุเลสัจญานังนันนิวันโนเอวังโตวังวิชัยโยโหหิชายาสุจายมังกะเลอมราติตมาลังเกสีเสมนาวิโภคะเรพิเศษเกสัมมาบุทานังอาคาปะโทมโมทาดิสุนังทานังสุมังกลังสุปปาดังโอติดังสุขโนสมุโตจัสสุเยตังพรหมจาริสุปันนาคินังกายกรรมังวาจากรรมังบันทาคินังภ ทากินังมโนกามังปณิทิเตปัฏฐากินาปตะกินานิกตวานาลพันนันเนมัตตาคิเนภวันตุสัมปมังคลังรักขันตุสัมปเนวนาสัมปบุญญาเวนัสดาโสทิภวันตุเทภวันตุสัมปมังคลังรักขันตุสัมปเนวันทาสัมปธัมมานุภาเวนัสดาโสทิวันตุเทภวันตุสัมปมังคลังรักขันตุสัมปเนวันทาสัมปสังฆานุภาเวนัสดาโสทิภวันตุเตYeah, but I'll explain it first. So it's in the 8 precepts in the chanting book. What page? '74. So this is the form that we use, the 3 refuges and the 8 precepts, and this is the 3 refuges. To explain that is this is very important actually to get a kind of a clear idea of how to what this really means in a practical way, because one can just do it perfunctorily like a parrot and say Bhutang Saranam Gacchami in Pali, but it actually, its meaning is to take refuge in the Buddha. And the Buddha is only talking about the here and now, the present moment, not about some dead sage, Indian sage, but about Buddha is the consciousness in the present. So we take in mindfulness, we begin to realize this Buddha, this refuge in Buddha through mindfulness. So it's not a person. It's not taking refuge in a person or some kind of devada, some kind of energy in the universe or anything like that. It's much more direct. It's not abstract. It really means the knowing, the mindfulness in the present. So this is saying Bhutang Saranam Gacchami is a reminder that be mindful. this Bhutto, this Buddha, is awareness, and it's not conditioned. It's not about even religion. It's about being aware, awake. Like each one of us is here, and we all think we're awake, but we might be living in our own world, our own scenarios and views and opinions. And so we create a world that we live in. Now, to be able to get perspective on that world is the Buddha. The Buddha knows the world. And so that is mindfulness. So when we say Bhutang Saranam Gacchami, that's what I use it for, it reminds me not to believe, not to get caught up in my own conditioning, my own feelings or opinions or views. And then the Buddha knows the Dhamma, so Dhammang Saranam Gacchami is truth, ultimate truth, or the truth of the way it is. And truth is here and now. It's not an abstract truth about, some kind of ultimate truth in an abstract way. It's real. It's reality. So the reality of now is Dhamma. And the Buddha recognizes Dhamma, or the way it is. So on this retreat, you're awakening to Dhamma. You're opening yourself up to reality, rather than just trying to get caught up in views, opinions, solution of personal problems, straightening out the world, solving your family's problems, and all the rest. One can spend a whole retreat just trying to figure out how to reshape the world. But during this retreat, it's not about making a better world, but recognizing the world, knowing the world as impermanent. It arises, ceases in our consciousness. So in Buddhism, the world is about the world we create. It's not about external planet or anything. It's about with the world that we create out of our ignorance and desires and attachments. So that is, the Buddha knows the world and knows that the world is impermanent. It's anicca. And the Buddha knows the amata Dhamma, or ultimate, the deathless reality. And so this is, Buddha recognizes, this is the reality of now, in which the world arises and ceases. So that's the Dhamma. Then Sangha, Sanghang Saranam Gacchami. I go to the Sangha, I go for refuge. And that is, you and I, individual human beings, practicing the Dhamma. So, it's not about persons, personality. Sangha implies group, it's not about individuals, but about group. So when we're really taking refuge in the Sangha, we're, developing awareness, recognizing Dhamma, and therefore each one of us is also taking refuge in the Sangha as a group. Our aim here is to realize Dhamma, to realize truth, to recognize it. It's here and now. It's not something you lack or don't, you've got to get. It's just awakening and recognizing. Now, we're all highly conditioned by our culture, education, our experience of life, and so forth, and these affect how the worlds that we create, that we live in. So, we may live in different worlds, have different tastes, different preferences, different attitudes, likes and dislikes. But consciousness is one. We're not separate consciousnesses. We create the separation through our conditioning. I am this person, you are that person. and believing, and this is the ultimate reality, this is our commitment to ourselves, our own world, then we create this division. So in this Buddha Dhamma Sangha, as refuges, it's not, even though this is a convention using 3 refuges, which is a kind of division, it's more of an expedient way of reflecting. So it includes you as a physical human being that is mindful and realizing the Dhamma, or the ultimate truth. So it includes all those who practice the Dhamma. So when we say it's the 4 pairs, the 8 kinds of noble beings, this is the one in the morning chanting. This is about, those who recognize the path, the stream, the sotapanna, those who realize the stream. And we're not really practicing Dhamma till we realize that, till we recognize it. So we have ideas about how I need to practice and what is the Dhamma, but that's still coming from intellectual ideas, from your own ways of defining it, and personal interpretations. So this emphasis on meditation, on patipata, or practice, is to awaken consciousness to, where wisdom operates, which is universal. It's not personal or cultural or even religious. It's completely natural. So then we take that the second time you do dutiyampi, tatiyampi, and this is a tradition to reaffirm it 3 times. First time you may just be heedless and say it like a parrot. And second time you have a chance to really mean it. And third time it really sinks in, hopefully. And then the 8 precepts are about, the first one is to refrain from taking life of any living creature. So this is, this is a most important precept. I mean, especially not taking the life of other human beings. Everybody took the first precept in its most coarse interpretation. Now this is wishful thinking, but if everybody in the world would take the first precept in its most coarse interpretation, not to intentionally kill other human beings, war would stop. But here at Spirit Rock, we're expanding that to living creatures. So there's respect for life for the insects, birds, and so forth that live here in the center, not to intentionally, see them and kill them. Then, so it's about respecting life and the right to live of other creatures. Then adinadana, undertake the precept to refrain from that which is not given. So we're living in sharing facilities in this center, in your rooms, and you share things, and so the attitude is to respect the property of the Spirit Rock, not to misuse it, be heedless about it, and of course, in its most coarse interpretation, not to steal things. But in a retreat like this, we're refining it to respect, say, the person you're sharing your room with, respect their property, their things, and not just take for granted using things without getting permission. And brahmacharya is undertake the precept to refrain from any kind of sexual activity. So during this retreat, there's, we have sexual bodies and energies that are natural to this state of being human, and so these can still operate even in a meditation retreat, but we're not acting on them. So that your relationship to sexual desire is observing, knowing, the Buddha's knowing Dhamma rather than, acting on it, or just feeling guilty, or, feeling guilty about feeling sexual desires. It's about recognizing when the conditions for this desire rises, but we do not act on it in any way. But we observe it, we accept it, we know it. So our refuge is in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, rather than in personal views about sexuality or fears and that we might have. Then, Musavada Viramani, undertake the precept to refrain from false and harmful speech, and this is not to tell lies or curse or swear or abuse others, insult or harm others with speech. It's also we're expanding this to noble silence. Now, noble silence, you notice the word noble. It's not tyrannical silence. So sometimes the noble silence becomes a form of tyranny. You go around telling people to shut up and being a tyrant. Get angry with people who do talk. And that's a tyrannical demand on silence. But noble silence, noble is we take responsibility for speech. Like nobility, when I use this word, I'm taking responsibility for my speech. And since the attitude of this retreat is silent, then, I'm not going to just use the speech, for gossip but if something necessary happens, like when interviews and things happen, then I'm quite willing to speak. So it's a mindful, using speech mindfully. And Surame Raya is I undertake the precept to refrain from consuming intoxicating drinks and drugs which lead to carelessness. So it speaks for itself, not to use a lot of drugs or not to mention taking intoxicating drinks, because we're really learning to awaken to a consciousness that isn't influenced or affected by chemicals and drugs. And you want to develop this awareness with a consciousness that is not being influenced unnecessarily by drugs or drink. So we want, even if you find the going tough and you would like to have a drink or take some kind of drugs, then that's still bear with it. Use it as an opportunity to observe, to see it in terms of Buddha knowing Dhamma rather than thinking that it's getting in the way of your practice. Whatever happens to you on this retreat, see it as the way of practicing, of understanding, of knowing, rather than as as a good retreat or bad retreat. Everything has to be just so, otherwise I can't meditate. This is a delusion. This is a world we create about I need this and I have to have that in order to meditate. That is the basic delusion that blocks off stream entry. So whenever that arises, all your views about what you need or like or don't like, observe that. Not to, that you shouldn't have those thoughts, but they are thoughts, they're creations that one attaches to and believes in. And we're looking at them in terms of what they are. They're arising conditions, arising, ceasing. We're discerning them in terms of Dhamma rather than in terms of whether I like or don't like the conditions I'm experiencing. And then Vikala Pochana is undertake the precept to refrain from eating at inappropriate times. So that is another restraint. Usually, like in ordinary life, we can, this is a society where we can eat any time we want. We can have munchies and cookies and chips and all kinds of things in the fridge. That when we get least bit upset or frustrated, we can eat something. So see, this is another way of distracting ourselves that is quite common in an affluent society. So just, the designated times for eating, and that is to, feel free to eat fully at those times. But to observe yourself, if you're a kind of food addict or addicted to sweets or whatever, this is a chance to begin to observe this. Not to criticize yourself, it's not a self-criticism, but to observe this impulse, this obsessiveness that we create about needing something to eat, and so that and then eating at the designated times. But watching, observing, being the Puto, knowing the Dhamma. And this long one, undertake the precepts to refrain from entertainment, beautification, and adornment. So this is agreement on this kind of retreat, to not seek distractions with, television or dancing, singing, playing games, dressing up, and doing all the things that one enjoys doing in ordinary life, where we seek entertainment and distraction. And we want to observe this. Our aim during this retreat, it's only a 9-day retreat, is to be the observer. So this is a guideline for not to seek distraction, or if you do seek distractions, observe this tendency to want to seek something to entertain you or distract you in some way or another. And then the last one, Ujjasana Mahasana, undertake the precept to refrain from lying on a high or luxurious sleeping place. So this means just don't spend the next 9 days sleeping. So these 8 precepts are guidelines. They're not like commandments or rules. It's a very important distinction in Buddhist terms. Oftentimes we see precepts as like 10 commandments or rules that we have to keep. And observe how you do regard precepts. There's a rule that I have to keep, or I'll be punished if I don't. If I chit-chat with somebody, I should be punished, or if I eat something, I might be punished for it. And there's a fear conditioning that we can also watch, of being afraid of breaking a precept because we fear of being punished for breaking a rule. But these are guidelines for how we're going to live with each other during this next 10 days. And they're to help you with mindfulness. They're not meant to be a kind of intimidating moral commandments that you're going to fail at or that you fear. But what we're doing is really rising up to a level of awareness. So we're not like children or a military unit that needs, a lot of discipline and kind of beating you into shape and forcing you to do things. It's each one of us is over 20, I assume. You look over 20. and so we take, we take for granted that we're taking responsibility, where, this is our chance to use these precepts for, and see how they affect us. And where we want to break them, or just observe that tendency to rebel against it, or to resist, or whatever way that you emotionally react to these, be a knower of that. It's like this. Or this, I'm not going to bother with some of those precepts, so we can pick and choose. I'm going to decide which precepts this is, kind of rebellious attitude. But where, this Bhutto is a knowing of these these attitudes, these emotional reactions we have. And it's not criticizing, not saying there's anything wrong, good or bad about it, but it's like this. The conditioned realm is like this. And when you begin to really appreciate this, you realize the conditioned realm is always dukkha. When you attach to the conditioned realm, you're thrown into the realm of agitation and change and discontentment and unhappiness, because that's the nature of the conditioned realm. And there's no permanent refuge in the conditioned realm. It's always, everything, eventually leads to its ending, to its loss, to old age, sickness, death. And that's the nature of the conditioned realm. But in this refuge, we're taking refuge in the unconditioned, in reality, not in any changing condition. So when we take the three refuges, Buddho, Dhammo, Sangho, this is taking, what this points to is awareness. Now awareness is the very essence of the Buddha Dhamma. And this is the uniqueness of Buddhism as a religion. It's this emphasis on awareness, on mindfulness, attentiveness, consciousness with awareness, in which we begin to realize this is our natural, this is our refuge. The deathless, the unconditioned Dhamma is real. And the conditioned realm is illusory. So the worlds we create are illusory. They're illusions that we cling to and suffer from those illusions. So this is just you can request these precepts, the refuges and the precepts. This is how I encourage you to regard them as helpful conventions for mindfulness. So, if you will all request the three refuges, page 74, together, you can kneel and put your hands together like this, and then all together say Mayang Bhante. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dhammāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi puttang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tisarana gamanang nititang. Banadibata veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. Adina dana veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. Apramacharya veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. Sura meraya machabama tatana veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. Vikala pochana veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. Najakita vatita vitsukha dasana malagandha vilebana dharana mantana vipulsanatana veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. Ujjasayana mahasayana veramani sikkhabadang samadhiyami. Now repeat after me, you chant this 3 times. Imani atta sikkhabadani samadhiyami. Imani sikkhabadani silena sukhatinyanti silena bhoga sambadha silena niputinyanti tasma silang vitsodhaye. So this attitude of this retreat is really one of encouragement. what I try to do is encourage awareness. I can't force you or make you aware. You know, if I could, I would, but I can't. So we need encouragement. And this retreat is about encouraging you. And, to trust this awareness. Because on a personal level, we don't tend to trust ourselves very much. We're so confused by our emotions and feelings that we don't develop confidence in anything other than we hold to some external standard or a teacher or a system or whatever. We find our confidence arising through clinging. Well, this kind of confidence is through wisdom. A confidence in awareness, not in what you think or believe or feel or a sense of yourself or your sense of self, having no self. Sometimes we're confused, we don't even know who we are, and we find that distressing. Sometimes we're strongly identified with certain perceptions. I see myself as this and that, and cling very strongly to perceptions of self. And my confidence lies in believing in these perceptions. But these are always shakeable. Conditioned phenomena always shakes. Because that's its nature, is changing. And then we're in a society that wants to affirm itself all the time as individuals, so that there's always a demand to assert ourselves as an individual. And this is strongly cultural, here in America. And so this assertion of self, we struggle with that, but it still makes us unconfident, even though we might appear that way. The confidence comes through understanding, through wisdom. And this is confidence, trust in awareness. And it's something so simple and so natural. It's not a created, refined, precious state of consciousness. It's just not recognized. So this retreat, hopefully those of you, or many of you probably have recognized this, but the encouragement is always to trust it, and to recognize it, to determine to cultivate awareness in your life, rather than become a retreat addict. Think I can only be aware on retreats, and that you're binding yourself to that limitation. Awareness is not damage. It's even in the battlefield or whatever. Once you recognize awareness, mindfulness, and sampajanya, or this perception, apperceiving, a kind of embracing conscious awareness of the moment, which is inclusive. It's not a divisive separation of anything. So it's completely natural and uncreated. That's why you can't do it as a willful act. You can't make yourself mindful as a willful act. The attitude towards mindfulness then is, to learning to relax and open yourself, relax, watch, be the observer, the Bhutto, be this knowing, the observer, rather than someone trying to get something. So sometimes meditation is, we're always trying to get states, get refined consciousness, get jhanas, get attainments, trying to get rid of defilements, get rid of our egos, get rid of our anger, and all these kind of things. And this is the self-operating, always trying to get rid of what you don't like, or trying to get something that you want that you don't have. So these are desires that we're blinded by. And so this awakening is awakening to desire. It's not a suppression of it, but recognizing. And this awakened consciousness then is your refuge, what you can trust, and where liberation is. So we use this traditional form and the 3 refuges, 8 precepts as a conventional. It's only a conventional form, so it's not an end in itself. It's merely meant to be a help, skillful means towards awareness. So this is up to each one of us to how we use this convention for awareness. This is it's not meant for something to be attached to and depend on. It's a skillful means, guidelines. In a community, you're agreeing on how to relate to each other, and things about not killing or using abusive speech and things like this. But we can still feel you might want to murder me at the end of this retreat. And I mean, if such a thought arises, it's, you say, I've taken the first precept. I cannot do that. But if you're aware, then you can at least be aware that is a condition. A feeling you have that arises. And it's like this. Or if you feel guilty, I shouldn't. I want to kill Ajahn Sumedho and I shouldn't. Then you make it more than what it is. You see, you're putting something onto it. I shouldn't. I'm a terrible person for feeling this anger and hatred towards this wise master. And so I'm a bad person. You've created something more. Where if, just the feeling of aversion is like this. And this is where you're getting to trust. This awareness embraces the feeling. It's not clinging. It's not an embrace like holding and clinging, but it allows a feeling to be what it is. And if you do that, then it natures to cease. So it's not up to you to get rid of it or to judge it. It's just recognizing, being the Buddha knowing the Dhamma rather than this person with a problem. Now what this retreat here is something very, this is kind of like spoon feeding, This is a special situation, this beautiful meditation center. Everything's laid on for you. You've got, the schedule, and you've got meals and cooks and staff that run the place, and all kinds of things that are happening that you don't even have to think about. It's none of your business. So this is so during this retreat, your whole, the encouragement is to use this retreat for this awareness and beginning to trust it and rest in it. And then as you trust it more and more, then it's easy to integrate into ordinary life. Mindfulness is not dependent on having such a perfect setup as Spirit Rock. This is an offering and an opportunity, but this is not how we have to live, in daily life. So it is, a kind of opportunity that's available now that you've determined to use. And so this is, see it as a kind of blessing for you, because we do need, sometimes we need to have special situations where we can get perspective, where we're not under demand and pressure from family or work or the world around us, where we have our soul kind of encouragement is to be awake and aware of what we're actually feeling. So it is a very good situation, but it is like special. And we can't live in special situations. We have to live in ordinary daily life with traffic jams and families and work and whatnot. And so but these are not obstructions to mindfulness. Families, professions, work, relationships, if we have trust in awareness, if we have this refuge and this respect for awareness within ourselves, then we can deal with what we have to in our private life, whatever that might be. Where it's easy to feel I can't really develop spiritually because of all my responsibilities and duties to the family, raising a family, making a living, and so we can convince ourselves that we can't really develop or practice because of this. This is another thought we create and a belief that we have, that if we grasp this perception, then we become like that. We bind ourselves to a condition and we become like that condition. So this is, learning to recognize the unconditioned, the reality of now, awakened attentiveness, and it's non-critical. It's not saying whatever you're feeling or thinking is right or wrong, but about it's like this. So we use this word, it's like this, or the way it is. It's a way of observing something without judging it. So if you're feeling terrible, it's like this. Terrible is like this. And to me, it's like when I do this gesture is like receiving something. Maybe I don't like it, but this, it's an unpleasant feeling, but it's like this. Then I can observe it. I can bear with it. I can endure its presence, and begin to recognize it's not something permanent. It's something. When you're fully accepting a condition, you're aware of its anicca, its changingness, its impermanence. So then this mindfulness is this discerning ability to know the conditioned as the conditioned and know the unconditioned as the unconditioned. Now, if you keep pursuing this, you have moments of insight, but then one easily falls back into old patterns and fears and desires and whatnot. As you trust yourself more and more, you'll see you don't want to get caught in that anymore, in all the problems and likes and dislikes and that of the world. You see, it's just endless and pointless to just try to straighten out the world all the time, and so you let go of the world, and then your ability to be of use in the world is from wisdom, not from personal preference or views or opinions or prejudices or ideals of how things should be. So in this way, it's like at this time in the States, you can see it's a very confusing time. And the society is, it's not just here, it's everywhere. All over the world is very confused. Nobody knows what they're doing. And, everybody's stumbling around in the dark. And that's because wisdom is not a refuge. It's all about views and opinions, about holding on to power, and about, control and about trying to get rid of the evil forces, the axis of evil, to try to annihilate the devil, kill the devil, or try to get rid of your enemies. So this is a dualistic framework of thought, and so we're caught in this at this time with this, and it's a momentum is building up of fear conditioning, control and fear, and then the confusion that comes from that. So by your very interest in doing this retreat, your willingness to do this retreat, I sit here with sore knees and all that for 10 days. This is very admirable, because you are, this is a way that we can help in so many, in the world in general. Not from personal views about how I want the world to be, but through breaking through the illusions we create around the world. So then our relationship to the world is compassion, loving kindness, metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha. The four Brahma Viharas come from this empty consciousness. How we relate to the environment, to other creatures, is then from the purity of consciousness that is manifested through these four Brahma Viharas, or sublime abodes. So it's not like you see the dumb, the deathless, and you go into a zombie-like trance, and the world, hell with it, don't care anymore. I'm fed up with it. It's not about negative resignation to misery, or annihilating the world, but knowing the world is the world. So in this way, this wisdom is you can see from my own experience over the past 50 years in Buddhism, the amount of growing interest in meditation, because it's greatly needed now here in the States and in Europe, everywhere. We get invitations all over the place to teach meditation, because it's an awakening of human individuals to Dhamma, or to this. We all have this impulse, or this longing, spiritual longing for returning to this natural state of being, which we're so tired of controlling and becoming and getting caught into the endless complexities of fears and desires that we create. So we're returning, or we're recognizing this very natural state that we've forgotten, and that we don't create, and that is the uncreated. And so that's why you can trust it, because it's not something dependent on how you're feeling, or whether things are going well or not, or whether there's, the world is peaceful or at war. So now we can close, and may you have a good night's sleep, and meet here at 5:30.
Annamayang Vadagata Sadhukarang Dadamase Sadhu 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 Amodam.
Chanting page 30. Handmayam neta varnam karomasi. Aham sukhito homi. Nidukho homi. Avero homi. Avyapaccho homi. Aniko homi. Sukhi attanam parihami. Sabbe satta sukhita hontu. Sabbe satta avera hontu. Sabbe satta avyapajja hontu. Sabbe satta anika hontu. Sabbe satta sukhi attanam pariharantu. Sabbe satta sabba dukkha pamuchantu. Sabbe satta ladda sampattito ma gachantu. Sabbe satta kammasika kammadayada kammyoni kammabandhu kammapatisarana yam kammam karissanti kalyanam va papakam va tasdayada bhavisanti. आइए हम मैत्री भावना को सभी ओर व्याप्त करें। मैं सुखी हूँ, दुख से मुक्त हूँ, बैर से मुक्त हूँ, द्वेष से मुक्त हूँ, चिंता से मुक्त हूँ। मैं सुख पूर्वक अपना संरक्षण कर सकूं। सभी प्राणी सुखी हों, सभी प्राणी वैर से मुक्त हों, सभी प्राणी द्वेष से मुक्त हों, सभी प्राणी चिंता से मुक्त हों, सभी प्राणी सुख पूर्वक अपना संरक्षण कर सकें। सभी प्राणी सभी दुखों से मुक्त हों, सभी प्राणियों की संपत्ति उनसे दूर न हो। सभी प्राणी अपने कर्मों के स्वामी हैं, कर्म ही उनकी विरासत है, कर्म ही उनकी योनि है, कर्म ही उनका बंधु है, कर्म ही उनकी शरण है। जैसे भी कर्म करेंगे, कुशल अथवा अकुशल, वही उनकी विरासत बनेंगे।
भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं
रक्षन्तु सब देवता सर्वबुद्धानुभावेन सदा सोति भवन्तु ते। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं रक्षन्तु सब देवता सर्वधर्मानुभावेन सदा सोति भवन्तु ते। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं रक्षन्तु सब देवता सर्वसङ्घानुभावेन सदा सोति भवन्तु ते। अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो भगवा बुद्धं भगवन्तम् अभिवादेमि। स्वाखातो भगवता धम्मो धम्मं नमस्सामि। सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो संघं नमामि।